beautiful people. Welcome back to the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal podcast. And we are being sponsored by Vonza. Vonza is an all-in-one course platform. And guess what? Because you are a loyal listener, you get an opportunity to get a 14-day free trial. So don't forget, click the link below and get your 14-day free trial. Let's get these courses launched and sold. I am here with my mom. I'm super excited to be doing this episode with her. And then let me tell you something. She tried to wear pink too today. She knew I was going to wear pink. Maybe she didn't. She tried to be like me, but I guess I'm trying to be like her. So I'm super excited. The person who's known me the longest carried me for 9-ish months, I guess. And she is here, the one I get on her nerves the most. Without further delay, the lady in pink and black, Polly Ann Adu. Thank you so much for being here with me, Mom, for the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal podcast, right?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I am so excited. What do you normally say? You'd be like, I'm super excited.
I'm super excited.
Super duper excited. This is awesome. The whole setup is beautiful. I love it.
Right? We got our microphones,
we got the lights.
Camera.
Action.
In action.
Love it. Love it.
See, we're doing the most because, girl, your brand's a big deal. You see where I get it from?
Yes.
I get it from my mama.
The most.
So let's talk a little bit more about you, your upbringing, your experiences in life. So let's go. Let's start there. Let's talk about your upbringing.
So we're going to start back in the day. Born in North Carolina, born and raised in North Carolina, really country part of North Carolina. Actually, it's called Wood, North Carolina. I think population, maybe 85 people at the most. But everyone knew each other, small town. And I was raised on a farm. My parents were sharecroppers, and we sharecropped. We had everything from tobacco, cotton, cucumbers, name it, we did it. But I think that by working on a farm as I did, and as my sisters and brothers did, it taught us a lot of value. So we understood hard work. And so I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. We learned a lot. We had, we raised our own food. Most of our food we raised. We had chickens and pigs and everything. And like I said, and we lived in a community where neighbors shared with one another. So we never went out. So everybody shared what everybody had. So I enjoyed my upbringing. I really, really did. It was a lot of hard work, but I did enjoy it. And we had a big family. We always had a lot of gatherings. And like I said, the community that I was raised in, everyone knew everybody. And if someone was lacking, somebody would come help out.
So yes, when she says a big family, tell us how big the family is.
Okay, well, actually, they were 11 children. So, my parents didn't watch a lot of TV, so apparently. But yeah, I had a big family, and I love big families. So yeah, it was exciting to have, the sisters and the brothers. And then when we grew up, then it became, the husbands and the wives and the children, and the family just continues to grow today. I think every time we have a family reunion, there's a newborn there, the last few years. So our family continues to grow. Yes, we're very fruitful, very fruitful.
They are fruitful and they keep multiplying.
Yes, we do.
And increasing my Christmas list every year. So let's talk about, you left North Carolina to move to New Jersey.
Yes.
And let's just talk a little bit more context about why you decided to leave North Carolina and go to New Jersey.
Well, I left North Carolina. It was my mother's idea. I had 2 sons before I got married. And the part of North Carolina that I lived in, there were no jobs. There weren't any jobs. I looked, there was nowhere to find work. So it was my mother's idea that I should move to Jersey. And I already had an older brother who was already established in New Jersey. So my mother called him, and he said it was fine for me to come live with him. And he actually came down from New Jersey and picked me up and took me back to New Jersey. And it was definitely different from, what I was used to. And that's where it started. That's where it started. I cried all the way up because I cried going all the way up to New Jersey because I was leaving my babies behind. But I knew they were in great hands. My mother, my father were going to take care of them because they wanted me to do better and to have something better for myself. So they just thought this would be the best for me. And that's how it happened, how I ended up in New Jersey. I was 22, 23 at the time when I moved to Jersey.
Oh, 22, 23.
Yeah, I was around by that age.
Making that decision to, leave your children with your family so that you could better yourself. And if that decision wasn't made, I wouldn't be here today. Okay.
That's true.
My brothers, they had to stay where they was at. No,
that's true.
I wouldn't be here today. And let's talk about that, because one of the things that my mother has been a great example of is a blended parent and being in a blended family, a bicultural family, having African-American roots in the South and also having African roots in Africa and West Africa, Ghana to be exact. What was your just thought process of having this blended family? So I have 3 brothers and 3 sisters. My sisters were born in Ghana, West Africa. My 2 brothers were born in North Carolina. And then my mother and father had a son and a daughter. Tell me about that, because I call us the African Brady Bunch. So tell us a little bit more about growing up in Irvington, New Jersey as the African Brady Bunch.
Well, I think when I first, my stepdaughters, I like calling them stepdaughters, they're actually my daughters, and they do call me Ma. I think when they first came, I just needed them to be able to be welcome. I welcomed them. And I told them I wasn't trying to be their mom or anything, but I would be there. And I was going to show them, same love that I showed, my biological children. I was going to show them that same love. And because I came from a big family. And so I think that was part of it that made, that I would understand having a blended family. And even some of my brothers did marry. When they got married, there were children already in the family. Their wives they had married, maybe had children, or one of my brothers already had children. So blended has always just been a part of who we are. It's not something new. It's always something. It's something. We have a couple of adopted in our family as well. So I think even the Black culture, blended is just something that comes with us. It's a part of us. We're going to blend. We got an uncle. We might have an aunt. And almost the whole time that I was married to your dad, someone was staying with us. It might have been a cousin. Someone from his family might have been living with us. A cousin, a brother, a sister. It was always somebody that was we all living in the same house together, especially when we lived in East Orange. And even when we moved to Irvington, I believe one of his, even Uncle Ernest, his nephew, my ex-husband's nephew, been with us. So we've always been blended. Cousins, as I'm growing up, we've had cousins living with us. I had a cousin, she lives in New York right now, and she moved in with us when she was 6 years old. I have several cousins that live with us. So blending is just, a blended family is just, I think, who we are as Black people.
Well, what if someone's out there and they have a blended family? What's like one tip that you have for them? Wow,
that's a tough one, because it really depends upon the situation. And I just have to say that I was blessed because my daughters, as I say, my stepdaughters, they were good to me. They were really good to me. And I know everyone, it doesn't happen like that. It doesn't happen that way for everyone. But they were good to me. We did have to get used to each other. I'm a very understanding person, not to, pipe my own horn or blow my own horn, but I'm a very understanding person. And I always try to look at the situation. And I understood that they were coming from another country, an entire country, coming to a brand new country. So I didn't want to add any drama to what they were already dealing with or having to deal with. They were coming to a new culture, a new way of people doing things. And I believe Beatrice, she was 14 at the time, and her English she wasn't even speaking the best English at that time. And so I would even try to help her with her homework and everything when she started school, but she eventually got it. Beatrice is something else. She is something else. But yes, I love them, and they've been here, all of them been here about 20 years or more. Yeah, more than 20 years, yeah. And they still call me Ma. And I let them know from the beginning that I was going to treat them, respect them the same way that I was doing my children that I have given birth to. And still to this day, they still call me. They keep in contact with me and make sure that mine's okay.
Hey, are you a coach, a creator, or an entrepreneur Listen to me, you need a easy to use, simple and powerful platform to help you run your business online. And that's why I created Vonza.com. Vonza is the best platform for creators to monetize their online business. With Vonza, you get all the tools you need for your business in one place, saving you time and money so that you don't have to be spending time trying to tie all these different tools together that don't really like each other much and wasting money and putting it down the drain. Vonza gives you one platform for your entire business. Here are some of the things you can do on Vonza. You can create and sell your courses, your community, your membership, website, digital products, physical products. In fact, all the tools you need for your online business all in one platform. And here's another good thing too. You get to try it for 14 days. So click the link below and start a free trial today. I'll see you at Vonza.com.
I love that. Mom, so let's fast forward some years to me making what kind of kid was I? Let's talk about, the birth of the Sade Adu. The queen is here, right? What did I bring to the table as a kid? What was I like growing up?
You were a character. Always have been. I guess even from the day I brought you from the hospital, you were just always a character. But it's like you walked early, you would talk early, you would make expressions like you were thinking. And you were never scared of anyone, like you would just about go to anybody. And then when you really started talking,
I wouldn't stop. That's what she's trying to
say. The floodgates opened. And I remember your father would sometimes get really irritable because you were just talking. And I remember saying to him, let her talk. I said, that's going to be her moneymaker. Don't ask me how I knew that, but I knew that. And yes, education. You loved learning. Sade would have friends come by. I remember your friends would come by and you wouldn't even go outside. I would make you go outside. They'd be outside playing. So it would be 10, 12 girls outside. And I'm like, Sade, your friends are here. She would be on side either reading a book or on her computer. And I would have to make her go outside and play. And my home was a very open home. I always had children. Young people just love to come to my house and move on because I'm going to love on them, try to give them good advice, and I'm going to feed them. That was one of my big things. Even I look in that refrigerator, try to figure something out. I remember we had a bunch of girls came by one time. Your friends came by, had been 10 or 12 girls. And I just went in the refrigerator, found some hot dogs, and we had some hot dogs, some bread, some ketchup, and some Kool-Aid, and it was good to go. So we always, and getting back to education though, you've always loved education. You didn't want to miss school, and that was from preschool up. And I remember, you remember 8th grade, that episode that happened in 8th grade, where your teacher called me. I was at work, and she said, Sade had an episode. I need you to come. I can't remember the teacher's name, but she said, I need you to come to school. I said, well, what happened? She said, I'll tell you when you get here. And she basically said, Sade is having a bad day. And I said, okay, well, I went to my manager and asked him if I could leave her. I said, an emergency. Just said, yeah, you can go. So, when I get to the school, I go to the office and everything. Then your teacher comes and we talking. And she just tells me what happened that day. That a lot of children and a lot of the kids were being, disrupted in class that day. And you stood up in the middle of the classroom. Do you remember it? You stood up in the middle of the classroom yelling and screaming. And your words were, I want to learn. I can't learn like this. And so your teacher suggested that I take you out of public school, put you in private school. And I'm looking at her like, I ain't got no private school money. How we going to do this? So I went home, talked to your dad, and we tried to put our heads together and thinking about how we're going to make this work because we were barely making ends meet as it was, because we had all these kids in the house. But we decided that you were worth it. We looked for a few schools and, they were expensive. You went to one with me. And these schools were off the chain expensive, but God, we were able to find a school. As a matter of fact, it was your godfather suggested a school. It was the same school that his daughters had attended. So we went there. You took the test. It was something that, it was still expensive, but it was something that we could afford. And like I said, but God, You passed your test, you started the school, and there were times that we did miss payment, but the school worked with us. And like I continue to say, but God is so good. And you did so good at private school. You did so well. You flourished. You strived. I saw your confidence build. And when you graduated, you were...
Number two.
And what's number two?
Salutatory.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's number one in my book. So, yes, I'm so thankful for that because you really... education, and you still being educated. You just love it. And not just for yourself. You want to pour your education into others. And you are a sharing person. I appreciate that because I love to share, and you also love to share. And I do appreciate that. You're not stingy. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much for that. I want to go back into now. Sade's saying, I love school. I enjoyed it. Shout out to the Morgan State University. And I went to school and kept going to school. And then there was this idea of starting a business. And I remember we were at my brother's house, my oldest brother's place. And I had like a business plan and I did a business meeting for the family.
Yes.
I was like, listen, family, we're doing something new. The kids were there. The dog was there. It was a serious situation and everyone needed to know. What were your thoughts of when I said, while I was working on my PhD, that I wanted to start this business? What were some of the things that were coming to your mind?
Well, I was excited. I was very, very excited. We had that conversation where I said, if I had to choose between a PhD and a business, I would choose the business. I had tried several businesses myself. They all failed, but I kept trying. So when you decided to do one, I was really just excited because I figured there was always a different way than just going to work 9 to 5. And for those who do, and you enjoy it, that's fine. That's good and fine. But I always felt that there was more. There's more. And when you said that you wanted to do a business, I was all for it. And one reason that I was for it is because when you put your mind to something, and it's always been that way. It's been that way most of your life. When you decide you were going to do something, you did it. It wasn't something like, I'm going to just do something today. I'm going to talk about today. Tomorrow I change my mind. You have always been that. You're not perfect. None of us are. But you always, when you put your mind to something, 9 times out of 10, you go ahead and you do it. And so, yes, I was just excited about that.
She was in. And then, it hasn't been easy.
No, it has not been.
It's been some challenges, ups and downs.
And if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Everybody would win and do it.
Everybody would. But it's, it's a chosen few. And I thank God that you're in, one of those chosen few.
So then we brought you in.
Yes.
On payroll. Yes. And what is it like working?
Oh, well, it gets, oh my goodness. Well, you're tough, but you have to be. You are tough. You want what you want because you want it, and you don't want to, because it's a business and your face is on that business, And when I talk to, we talk about things and one of my biggest things is I'd be like, just have integrity. I don't need you out here, misleading.
For the internet street.
Exactly. Or misleading people. And because people do work hard for their money. So, just have that integrity. And I like that you're a good listener. And sometimes, I'm like in another room, but I'm listening to you. And I'm like, how does she come up with that stuff? You're my daughter. And I'm like, and I'd be in awe sometimes. How does she come up with that stuff? The information that she gives. Somebody will ask you a question and you'll be like, and I'm like, and I'm, and somebody asked me a question. I'm like, okay, let me think about it. And you'll be like, how does she do that? I'm like, it's really amazing to me how you do that. But that is definitely a gift that God has given you, So don't play with that gift, Continue to develop it and grow that gift. And I'm proud, I'm very proud. I don't even regret some 32 hours of labor that you had me in. But I'm very proud of you. So...
What are some words of encouragement that you have for other entrepreneurs or parents that want to support their children in their dreams and goals?
Well, number one, just taking, you take one day at a time. And as you know, I pray a lot. I ask God to order your steps. And also encourage you, if you are going to go into business, and not just to plug my daughter, but you need a good community. You will need a coach because I've seen difference. I've seen like people who get coaches. Since Sade's has gotten her coaches, her confidence, how she's able to help others and just ideas. They just be throwing ideas, and I've seen her business do better because she has surrounded herself with good community and with good coaches. You can't go wrong. Because even if you go to school, you're going to need a good teacher. Anything that you're trying to do, it's best to have someone who knows more than you do. Don't try to figure it out by yourself. Even when I go to church, I got to listen to the word. I'm listening to the word. I read the word and everything so I can know for myself. But I love when the pastor gives a good word because I'm still learning. I've been in church all my life. But I'm still learning about, the goodness of God. I'm still learning about that. So I look at my pastor as a coach. I look at the elders as a coach. I look at the sisters in my church as a coach, because when I ain't going to be here forever, and I want to go into glory, when that day comes. So I do advise you to get a coach. Surround yourself with good people. Try not to overthink it. Get those things out of your head. Try to get those thoughts, those negative thoughts out of your head. And don't try to be a people pleaser, because I was guilty of that, trying to please everyone. And you end up pleasing nobody, and love yourself too. Love who you are. Because God made you exactly how he wanted you to be. And what else do I need to say?
That sounds good enough for me. Why is your brand a big deal?
My brand is a big deal because I just love encouraging. And women, especially women, we need to be encouraged. And my love language is servicing. And and I'm a big hugger too. So that's why my brand is a big deal.
What's next for you?
What's next for me? Well, I got some books I need to get done. You've been kicking my behind on that. And I do. I really do need to do that. And I probably, I'm an MC at a women's retreat in New Jersey coming up next weekend. So, things like that. I do a little bit of here every once, a little thing here and there. But we'll see where it takes me.
So you heard it. She needs to get her book out. And we can talk about forever.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever and ever. I want to say thank you so much, Mom, for being on the Girl Your Brand's a Big Deal podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Sponsored by Vonza, the all-in-one course platform. Make sure you get your 14-day free trial. We are super excited. We want to say thank you so much for just being here, and we hope to see you in the next episode.